Hello, my dear, from wherever you're currently watching from. Same place, different time. I just went for a walk and came back, and I noticed that not only today, but also in the last days, ever since my back is hurting, I'm being asked to take it more slowly and to allow myself more gentleness, more basically to just reduce the pace of the rhythm, my own rhythm, which in the first instance was something that I felt like I would need to do because with the pain in the back, there wasn't any other choice. But actually today, since I'm experiencing more moments of release and pain-free moments as well, I felt that I want to go back to my old routine, to my projects and all there is, to experience and to just go for it. And so today, I'm already laughing because I want to share one story with you that actually makes me laugh until this day, today still, after so many years. It is a story that has come to my mind and which actually helps me to stay quiet and peaceful and enjoying the hot water that I have now in my back, in my pain, in my pain area of my back. I feel that on one side it really helps me to, focus, to stay present. And at the same time, there's this other feeling inside of me that I want to be back on track. So while I was thinking about the message of today's video, I remembered that story. And I'm going to share that with you guys, with you specifically today. So it has been a couple of years now that I've been working with one homeless man who was wandering around. And I haven't seen him quite frequently. He came to me like once a year, sometimes maybe once every 2 years. And he barely needed any help and support with most of the things. He was very independent and knew the system very well too, which is why most of the appointments and issues that arise, he could fix them by himself. Which also was something that he was very proud of. The people who knew him, they knew that. And so he had many friends because people would also come to him for advice and always a good story. He always had good stories to tell about the places and the people that he has encountered on his way. And so it was in a summer when we met again. And he came to me. And of course, first I was surprised to see him because it has been a long time. And he came to me and he said, "I need your help." And that surprised me even more because it's not typically the way that he would start the conversation. And I said, sure, of course. What is it? And he said, well, there is an issue that he's currently facing that he can't resolve by himself. He has actually already tried to solve it by himself, but he wasn't successful. So he wanted to ask me for advice in that regard. And so we sat down, we talked, and it turned out that the German government has declared him a dead man. Which of course he wasn't, because he was talking to me. And so it took me some time to understand what was going on. And he was laughing so hard when he told me the specific steps, how that came. And the letter that he received finally, it was like the last straw. It was regarding the social security number that the German government could not provide to him, based on the argumentation that he is dead. So one of the things he did is he put on his most beautiful clothes, as he told me. And he said, Sabrina, I even put on perfume. Which, if you know him, he's not the type of guy to put perfume on. But he did. And so he went there to the woman who has issued that letter to him. He presented himself with all of his charm and sympathy and love for life. And he was really optimistic that he could, by letting her know that he is standing in front of her, that he could solve that. But actually that woman was really not so optimistic, to say it in a very diplomatic way. And she explained to him that she couldn't do anything for him because she doesn't know that he is the man that is supposed to be dead. And there is no way for him to prove that to her, because the system tells her that he is dead, and she believes the system. Basically, that was the interaction that he had with her. And so that's when I encountered him. And so based on that day, of course, we had a really good laugh also with him and together with the other team members and the other people's friends of him. And it was kind of a curious case. I myself haven't encountered a case like that previous to that situation. So I took on the task to resolve that mystery. And it took me about 2 months. It took us about 2 months. And it was required, to basically get some administrational processes in place. And I don't want to bore you too much with the German administration, but basically we found a solution. And it was like about approximately 2 months that it took us to fix that. And besides that story, besides that setting that we have met and the things we have found an answer to, basically, I was reminded of that story just today. Because I remembered that he told me that these 2 months in which he was forced to sit still until all of that gets resolved. He was very uncomfortable in the beginning. And if it was to him, he would be already traveling and going to new places and, things that he would usually do. He likes to call himself a rolling stone. So, as he said, a rolling stone cannot be still. It needs to roll. Because if it doesn't roll, it's not a rolling stone, right? So for him, it was really more so challenging to just wait until things get figured out. That was more challenging to him than being declared dead by the German government. So within that 2 months, and as I said in the beginning, it was really hard for him to. I just noticed that there's this reflection in my glasses. I will take them off. In the beginning, it was really hard for him to really stand still and to allow the process to resolve. There was a time when he told me that even if it is so challenging to stand still, he appreciates the experience. And when we came to the end of those 2 months, he came to say goodbye. And he told me that in this 2 months, he had the possibility to reflect and to be reminded about stories that he already forgot about. And so he would still be continuing to travel, but his route, the road he would take, he actually changed it because he wanted to meet some of the people that he haven't met since childhood. So instead of traveling roads that he didn't know, within those 2 months, he decided that he would be traveling to the roads that he already knew, but that he hasn't visited ever since the time that he left. And it has changed something within him. I know that also because one time he told me that he would never go back to a place where he has left previously. And so I believe that there was a lot of things unfolding for him also internally on an emotional basis. But overall, he seemed very happy about that process. And still today, I think about his story and I think about these 2 months. I remember the struggle for him in the beginning to stand still. I remember him feeling trapped in this situation, where he felt that not only he needed to stay in one place, and in the beginning it was not clear that it was 2 months, it was just clear that he needed to stay. But that stuckness became kind of a freedom to him. the freedom to choose the path that he has forgotten about, the places that were once beautiful to him. He kind of closed a lot of chapters in his life, and he continued, not looking back. And it needed the German government to declare him a dead man to look back and to find beauty in the places he has left behind. So I think his story is for me at least, it was at that time a great inspiration. And it's still until this day. Because we can not always choose our settings, the environments we are in, the circumstances we find ourselves in. And something so crazy as the fact that somebody declares you dead when you're not. I mean, it's not something that is very usual. But even it doesn't have to be that specific case for you or for me. But I believe that when things get so clear, just as it was with his case, he actually turned that forced stillness into something beautiful, to revise old memories, maybe even friendships. And so I believe there's beauty in that forced stillness. And so I believe that it is true for myself too, that right now, even if I'm holding the water bottle now with one hand, and I'm also on a very physical sense being forced to slow down a little bit. I'm not sure what it will allow me to unpack 2 months from now. So I'm willing and I'm open to take this new phase, this new adventure, and be reminded. And so I also want to remind you that if you're currently struggling or having, like in Croatia we would say, having the ants in your butt, when you can't sit still. But at the same time, you feel that it's important to sit still. Be reminded that there are a lot of people that are feeling the same. But also be reminded that there lays beauty in it. If we commit to the stillness and the slowing down. And just as it has fixed itself, the situation for the man, just as it has resolved itself. Stillness is not something that is permanent. It's, I believe, more so an invitation to look at things from a different angle, from a different perspective. And isn't that a wonderful gift in our so quick world today? I believe it is. And so the next time when I want to jump and go inside the next project, I will be more aware to snap myself out of it and to be reminded that in this moment there's a treasure to be found. If I'm allowing my eyes to see it. So that was the story that I wanted to share with you today. And I wish you a peaceful silence in which you can recover and maybe find new perspectives for yourself too. I appreciate you and your support. And I'll see you in the next one.